In this video, we're counting down the top 5 most valuable wheat pennies ever discovered. Could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars. That's the magic of wheat pennies, tiny copper coins minted between 1909 and 1958 that can hide incredible value. Today, we're diving deep into the history, key features, rare errors, and jaw-dropping auction results of the 1937-era wheat penny. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and who knows, maybe you're sitting on one of the rarest coins in US history now. Here's where it gets exciting. Some are so rare, so unique, that they've sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars and in some cases, even millions. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, something you could easily overlook, could secretly hold life-changing value. The background. Before we talk about errors and rare finds, let's set the stage. The 1937 wheat penny belongs to the famous Lincoln wheat cent series, minted from 1909 to 1958. These coins feature Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the first time a real person was featured on U.S. coinage. On the reverse, we see the iconic wheat stalks, symbolizing prosperity and abundance. Now, 1937 was a special year. America was in the depths of the Great Depression, yet the mint was producing coins in massive quantities to keep the economy moving. In fact, millions of 1937 wheat pennies were struck across the Philadelphia, Denver D, and San Francisco S mints. The rare errors and most valuable. Double die obverse DDO. $2,000 to $3,000. Off-center strikes. $4,000 to $5,000. Clipped planchets. $7,000 to $9,000. Die cracks and cuts. $1,000 to $10,000. Record auction sales of 1937-era wheat pennies. Now, let's talk numbers. This is where jaws hit the floor. A 1937 double die wheat penny in high mint state condition has sold for over $20,000. A 1937 off-center penny with 60% of the design missing but the date visible went for nearly $7,500. A wrong planchet 1937 penny sold at auction for over $10,000. And ultra-rare experimental strikes, if authenticated, could reach the $1 million range, since collectors will pay anything for one-of-a-kind rarities. Think about that. A coin worth 1 cent could secretly be worth more than a Ferrari, a mansion, or even a retirement fund. How to identify a rare 1937-era wheat penny? So how do you know if you've got one of these treasures in your collection? Here are some quick tips. Check the date and lettering. Look closely at the 1937 Liberty. If you see doubling, you may have a DDO. Look at the shape of the coin. If it's off-center, clipped, or oddly shaped, that's a major red flag in a good way. Examine the rim and fields. Die cracks, cuds, or unusual raised lines can add value. Weigh the coin. A standard wheat penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If it's much lighter or heavier, it could be a wrong planchet error. Get it graded. If you think you found something, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Authentication can make the difference between a penny worth $10 and a penny worth $100,000. The collector's perspective. Collectors love the 1937 wheat penny not only because of its errors but also because of its historical significance. It's a coin struck during. We'll uncover the fascinating history of the 1945 wheat penny, break down the rare errors that make some worth staggering amounts, reveal real auction records, and show you how to spot one of these treasures in your own collection. That's right. A single penny from World War II struck with a rare minting mistake could secretly be a life-changing fortune hiding in plain sight. So stick with me until the end, because the last error I'll reveal is so rare, it could make your penny worth more than a brand new house. The background. Let's travel back in time to 1945. The world was at a turning point. World War II was coming to an end. Millions of American soldiers were returning home, and the U.S. economy was shifting from wartime production to peace. During this time, the Lincoln wheat cent was still in full production. It had been introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and by 1945, it was deeply embedded in American life. Here's what makes the 1945 issue significant. The U.S. Mint was producing massive numbers of pennies to fuel wartime spending. The rare errors and most valuable. Double die errors. $5,000 to $25,000. Off-center strikes. $1,000 to $3,000. Clipped planchet errors. $6,000 to $7,000. Wrong planchet errors. $10,000 to $20,000. Record auction sales price. Now let's talk about the jaw-dropping sales that prove how valuable these coins can be. A 1945 double-die penny in gem condition sold for over $15,000 at auction. A major off-center 1945 penny with a perfect 60% strike sold for $7,500. A wrong planchet 1945 penny struck on a dime planchet brought in $20,000. And experts believe that if a unique experimental or transitional strike from 1945 were to surface, it could command seven figures, well over $1 million. How to identify a rare 1945 error penny. So how can you tell if your 1945 wheat penny is just pocket change or a hidden treasure? Here's a quick checklist. Look at the date and lettering. Check for doubling on 1945, Liberty. Check the shape of the coin. Off-center. Odd shape. Missing metal. That's a good sign. Examine the weight. A regular bronze 1945 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. Anything lighter or heavier may be a wrong planchet. Inspect for cracks or cuts. Raised lines or blobs of extra metal are error indicators. Get it graded. PCGS and NGC can authenticate and grade your coin, turning it into a certified treasure. Why collectors love the 1945 wheat penny. It's not just about the money. The 1945 wheat penny carries history. Struck during the final year of World War II. Represents a time when every penny truly mattered to families struggling through rationing and rebuilding. Part of the beloved Lincoln Wheat Cent series, one of the most collected U.S. coins ever made. For collectors, owning a rare 1945 era penny isn't just owning a coin, it's holding a piece of American history. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating history, rare errors, key features, and jaw-dropping auction results of the 1952 D wheat penny. And make sure you stick with me until the end, because I'll reveal the one type of error so rare it could make your penny worth over $1 million. That's right, a single penny from the Denver Mint in 1952 could secretly be worth more than a brand new car, a luxury vacation, or even a house. So grab your magnifying glass, because this could be the most valuable penny hiding in your collection right now. The background. The Lincoln Wheat Cent, featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two wheat stalks on the reverse, was minted from 1909 to 1958. It's one of the most beloved U.S. coin series ever made. By 1952, America was in a post-World War II boom. The economy was growing, families were buying homes, and pennies were still an essential part of everyday life. Now, the Denver Mint, D, was one of the busiest mints that year. It produced 750 million coins. That's a massive mintage, which makes the average 1952 D penny extremely common. The rare errors and most valuable. Double die errors. $10,000 to $20,000. Off-center strikes. $1,000 to $2,000. Clipped planchet errors. $5,000 to $8,000. Die breaks and cuts. $9,000 to $12,000. Auction records and most valuable. Auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers have sold incredible examples of 1952 D errors. A 1952 D RPM variety in MS67 red sold for nearly $9,000. A dramatic off-center strike brought in over $6,000. A wrong planchet 1952 D penny struck on a silver dime planchet sold for an eye-watering $12,000. Experts believe that if a one-of-a-kind transitional or experimental strike were authenticated, it could easily break the million-dollar barrier. How to identify a rare 1952D error penny. So how do you know if your 1952D penny is special? Here's a quick checklist. Examine the mint mark. Look closely at the D. If it appears doubled, shifted, or has extra impressions, you may have an RPM. Look for doubling. Check the date, Liberty, and motto for signs of doubled letters. Check the shape of the coin. Off-center, odd clips. Strange rim. These are signs of valuable errors. Weigh the coin. A normal wheat penny weighs 3.11 grams. Anything lighter or heavier could mean a wrong planchet. Magnify the coin. Use a 10x loop to find small cracks, die breaks, or doubling. Get it graded. If you suspect a valuable error, send it to PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. A certified coin always sells for more. Why collectors love this coin? The 1952D wheat penny is more than just copper. It's a snapshot of American history. Struck during the post-war boom, when the U.S. was cementing itself as a global superpower. Part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, one of the most collected coins in the world. Error varieties make it exciting for both beginners and advanced collectors, since every coin. Today, we're diving deep into the history, the rare errors, the incredible auction records, and the secrets behind the 1955 error wheat penny. Stick with me until the end, because I'll reveal the most valuable error of them all, a coin so rare, it has made collectors' jaws drop for decades now. Here's the shocking truth: some 1955 error pennies are so rare and so famous that they've sold for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and in some cases, even millions of dollars. That's right. A single penny worth just 1 cent on paper could secretly hold a value big enough to buy you a brand new car, a luxury vacation, or even a house. The background. The Lincoln Wheat Cent has always been one of America's most iconic coins. Introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, the design features Lincoln on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity. By 1955, America was in a post-war boom. Families were buying homes, kids were watching black and white TVs, and pennies were still an important part of everyday life. The mint struck pennies at both the Philadelphia Mint No mint mark and the Denver Mint D. The rare errors and most valuable. Off-center strikes. $3,000 to $5,000. Clipped planchets. $7,000 to $8,000. Die breaks and cuts. $9,000 to $10,000. Wrong planchet errors. $15,000 to $20,000. Auction records and most valuable. Let's look at some real auction results that prove how valuable these coins are. A 1955 double die obverse in gem uncirculated condition sold for $40,000. Another high-grade example cost $50,000. A wrong planchet 1955 penny brought in $60,000. Experts believe the finest examples could break the million-dollar barrier, making the 1955 penny one of the most valuable coins of the 20th century. How to identify a rare 1955 error penny. So how can you tell if your 1955 penny is a life-changing treasure? Look closely at the date and lettering. If the doubling is bold and obvious, you might have the DDO. Examine the mint mark. Check for signs of RPMs, extra impressions of the D. Check the shape of the coin. Off-center strikes or clips are instantly visible. Weigh the coin. A normal wheat penny weighs 3.11 grams. Anything off could mean a wrong planchet. Get it graded. Send it to PCGS or NGC for authentication. A certified coin is worth far more. Why collectors love this coin? The 1955 double die obverse isn't just a coin, it's a legend. It's the most famous double die in American numismatics. It symbolizes a rare mistake in a minting system built on precision. It carries historical weight, coming from the mid-1950s, when the US was booming and collectors were beginning to take numismatics seriously. Collectors dream of owning one and many spend their lives hunting for this iconic penny. Final thoughts. So, what do you think? Could you have a rare 1955-era wheat penny hiding in your collection right now? We're diving deep into the history of the 1957-era wheat penny, the most famous errors, how to spot them, and the jaw-dropping auction prices. Stay with me until the end, because I'll reveal the single most valuable 1957-era penny ever discovered, a coin so rare, it shook the coin collecting world. Now, here's the shocking truth. While billions of 1957 pennies were minted, certain error versions are so rare that collectors have paid hundreds, thousands, and in some cases, even life-changing sums worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars for a single coin. The background. The Lincoln wheat cent was first struck in 1909, honoring Abraham Lincoln on his 100th birthday. For 50 years, the design remained largely the same. By 1957, America was booming in the post-war era. The penny was still essential for everyday transactions, vending machines, and savings jars. The Denver Mint, identified by the D Mint mark under the date, struck a staggering that means most 1957 D wheat pennies are common, often worth only a few cents today. But hidden among them are incredible minting mistakes that transformed certain coins into priceless treasures. The rare errors and most valuable. Double die errors. $2,000 to $10,000. Off-center strikes. $4,000 to $5,000. Clipped planchets. $2,500 to $5,000. Die breaks and cuts. $5,000 to $10,000. Auction sales record and value. To prove just how valuable these coins can be, let's look at some real-world numbers. A 1957 D RPM in MS67 red sold for $5,875. An off-center strike 1957 D wheat penny with a full visible date fetched over $30,000. A 1957 D struck on a silver dime planchet brought in $22,000 at auction. Experts believe the rarest wrong planchet examples could break $67,000 to $90,000 in future sales. How to identify a rare 1957 D-era penny. Want to know if you're holding a treasure? Here's what to look for. Check the mint mark, D. Look for doubling, tripling, or crooked placements. Examine the date and lettering. Any signs of doubling? Get it checked. Look at the shape. Off-center. Missing chunks. That's a premium error. Weigh the coin. A normal penny weighs 3.11 grams. If yours is much lighter or heavier, it could be struck on the wrong planchet. Professional grading. If you suspect an error, send it to PCGS or NGC. A certified grade and error designation can multiply its value dramatically. Final thoughts. So now you know the 1957 D wheat penny isn't just another common old coin. With the right error, it could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars. Do you think you might have one hiding in your collection? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't action, and ring the bell so you never miss another story about rare and valuable coins. Remember, check your change. Because the next $1 million treasure might be sitting in your pocket right now.